Many still have doubt how XRP will go 10x, 100x, 1000x or 3000x in price. I'm going to say here are some information which I'm going to show you guys. Try to process it well enough and you'll understand my viewpoint which takes me to that price point. Currently, gold price is around $1,700, say $1,700. And experts in the field is actually talking about a $10,000 gold.
If you do, I'm not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm saying that in a financial panic, in a liquidity crisis, in a monetary panic, worse than 2008, which I do expect, if international elites, the IMF, finance ministers of the G20 countries have to restore confidence and they turn to gold, which they might, you have to have $10,000 gold. Any lower price is deflationary. It would completely defeat the purpose. It would repeat the blunders of 1925.
And along with that, keeping in mind, central banks are buying and stocking gold. Now, why are we actually talking about this particular thing when we are looking at XRP price and how XRP will move? Now, listen to this, you'll actually understand that.
The central bank being at the heart of the payment system, it backstops. So even when one banker sends a dud message to another banker that something has to be settled, the central bank first does settle it and then asks questions.
If you are receiving value out of the content, do hit the like button, subscribe button and the bell notification icon to get updated about the future videos. So now we have central banks as a common institution which conducts payments, and they also control the inflation rate by being the custodian of money by holding gold now. Yes, it's not a gold standard now, but they are doing this. So what does a $10,000 gold means for XRP price? That is a huge turning point for those who have accumulated XRP, because now banks have accounts with central banks and both of them are moving into blockchain and R3's Coda for settlement process. So when we move, you can understand they are doing this to streamline credits for corporates. And the corporates are actually responding on the same coin, just the other side. So that's the other side of the same coin which they are actually responding to, and that is actually huge, because when you actually look at that, you can actually see what they are targeting at, and that is huge. Stay tuned, as this episode is going to be an information packed episode which you will get. Welcome to the Scientific Investor channel, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, when we actually move on with the same video, they are actually talking about crypto, future of crypto, and they actually show you Bitcoin, Litecoin, Monero, Ethereum, and they actually discuss some details about this. And they actually, he actually states that he's not a fan of Bitcoin, because when he say that you can't directly state cryptocurrency, because you should be specific about an asset which has value. And he actually talk about he doesn't see any value in Bitcoin, but personally he sees some in other crypto asset. So that is something huge, because they are from traditional world and now they started understanding that not all crypto is same, and some do have a use case and some do have value. Now at the same time, central banks are actually behind this. They are holding gold, as well as they are working along with blockchain companies and fintechs, right? So as we listened, we understood that banks have accounts in central banks and they use it for the payments. So when a bank sent a message to settle a payment, central bank first settles the payment and then ask a question. So that is so important, because the settlement is coming soon and fast. When the Fed is actually moving towards faster payment system, they'll settle that instantly and they can actually question if necessary. So at the same time, we can also understand that the introduction of bank credits for corporates in a new age system with blockchain is actually efficient, because even Nasdaq is partnered with R3 to offer platform for digital asset marketplaces. Now we all know that the Coda blockchain is actually used does actually use XRP for the settlement process. Now, when we actually move ahead, we do have to consider that huge players are actually entering the market, and as they enter the market, there are changes being implemented. Now, say this is one Visa, right? So when Visa is looking at it, they are actually looking at fintech firms. And why they are actually looking at this? For example, Visa is already a firm which uses its own network to do the payments, right? But the messaging system of the payment is not complete enough for the payment itself, because you need the second part, that is the settlement. And here they are actually looking at aimed at bridging different parts of digital divide for consumers and merchants. They also highlight the payments from business to business. So when you actually look at that, along with the digital currency wallets and all the fintechs, they're actually looking at for what? Doing the bridging aspects of a business in an electronic manner. That actually takes us a long way ahead. Now, this article is actually showing you that the world's nervous system is being rewired. Now, yes, this is kind of a being critique about what is happening in the overall economy, how the US and China divide is happening. But at the same time, keep in mind that when that is happening, majority of the central bankers or the supporters for these guys, they actually critique about the entire actions taken from the Chinese side. So personally, that's the reason why I'm looking forward to liquidate my ETH positions as well, because being majority Chinese mined coin, it can also be affected. So in that aspect, for me personally, I'll be moving that into XRP instead of looking at any other coin. I don't have to think twice to do that. Now, why I say that? This is a shorter time frame chart of XRP. And as we were talking, we broke above, we came back, we retested, then we started a bit of bounce. Now we are making kind of a higher low there, but not yet higher high. So it's still kind of a movement there. But at the same time, we got a cross in the MACD at the bottom here on a 4-hour chart, and we are getting the volume to the upside. But keep that in mind when we zoom out and move into a daily chart. Here we are getting kind of a positive trend there, kind of making a long bullish flag there. But at the same time, if you look at the MACD, it's kind of getting towards closing to the downside, meaning crossing to the downside. If it crosses to the downside, that's actually a negative point, right? A point of caution. But if you look at previous aspect here, it actually crossed a bit, but the price didn't dip much. It just dipped a bit and then pushed up higher. But at that time, we were below this long resistance line, and that's one of the reasons why the price actually pushed down. Now, if you actually look at this particular point, now this won't be correct, but this is what I assumed as what is coming. Say, for example, the price may actually push a bit higher, go back to this previous high of 0.235, and at the same time, the MACD will be bouncing from here. See, that is what happened here, right? The price actually dipped a little bit and bounced back, and the MACD didn't actually cross to the downside, made the volume in the negative. Instead, it actually bounced from there, giving this huge candles, right? So in that aspect, if we are gonna get this movement there, as we stated, towards 0.235, we'll get a bounce in MACD. Now that will actually enhance the buying ability or the indicators for many buyers, because at that point the volume will be spiking again into the upside. The MACD is already in the positive on a daily and moving to the upside. So say, for example, that is happening, then at the same time in the larger time frame charts, like say for 3-day chart or a weekly chart, the positive momentum will be building. Here we are just entering into the positive territory now in the MACD lines, right? And if we are getting a bit of bounce, that means we are into the positive area. And keep in mind, whenever we are in a bearish trend and we are below the positive range, meaning we are in the negative range, the push high always come down like this. But if you look at here, at this point, we actually went up and we got a bit more pump from the range. So something was kind of changing. Then we came back and made new lows. But now we are reaching towards that positive level on a 3-day chart. So if we actually push into a 3-day chart and move into the positive territory, you can actually see the fluctuation which happens in the history, right? So that is for a 3-day. Now if we zoom out and look at it on a weekly time frame, you can actually see that the MACD is already crossed to the upside. We're getting the volume on the upside. So if the 3-day is actually making to the positive range and keeping the push up, then there is no much more resistance in a weekly. We'll directly move here. Now, yes, that is about the MACD. If you look at the RSI, we have the overhead resistance areas up until 0.29, 0.3 area. That's huge overhead resistance. But if the buyers are coming in like this, you can see we are moving to the upside in a weekly chart on a green candle, highlighting that a green candle from last 6-7 weeks. So say this is 1 2 3 4 5 6, yeah, this is the 7th week. So if we are closing this week on green, that's like 7 weeks. And if you look back for last 2 years, we haven't done something like that for last 2 to 3 years. So in that aspect, there is something changing. And are you actually ready for the change is a question. Personally, I'm trying to point out whatever I see in the XRP, for example, in the fundamental side or in the technical side, and I'm actually prepared for this. And I believe many are actually prepared with their portfolio accumulating XRP and getting ready to prepare their mentality to wait for that higher prices, because mentally you should be prepared. Otherwise, when the price pumps 10 times, 100 times, you'll be actually tempted to take out the profits, because when it fluctuates like that, say your profit will be now shown in green. Okay, so profit is now 10,000. When it drops 10%, it's dropping, your profit is dropping. So many will be tempted to take it out. So in order to not to be tempted, you need an exit strategy. And if you're ready with the strategy, then you are just going to take out what you're already prepared, say 10% at this price level, 10% at this price level. So that won't actually hurt you in the long run. Do hit the like button, subscribe button and the bell notification icon to get updated about the future videos.